Welcome once again to our weekly look back as well as look ahead to the biggest news headlines in the Mid-South. We try to give the stories that affect you some context and perspective because, let's face it, things can seem pretty complicated at times. A quick programming note first, though. From now until the end of the summer, when high school and college sports pick up again, our Sunday night broadcast will now be at 10:35 p.m. instead of 11 p.m. And here are our topics for today. What better example of that than the Memphis mayor's race? Because here we are, less than 5 months until the election, and candidates are talking a lot more about where they've lived than where they stand on actual issues facing our city. We'll talk about this week's developments on the 5-year residency rule. Also today, the Shelby County mayor and school system both making news this week. The mayor for a proposed budget that hopes to rebuild Regional 1 and build 2 new schools, and the school board, I should say, being criticized for more delays in hiring a new superintendent. And the endorsement shuffle, we'll call it, former President Trump putting heavy pressure on Republicans in Congress to endorse him before any other candidate gets some traction. We're going to look at who's kissed the ring and who has not. A lot to get to, but let me start by introducing my distinguished panel. Otis Sanford is ABC24's political analyst. Susan Adler-Thorpe is a political consultant with Thorpe Communications. And Reverend Kenneth Whalum is pastor of the New Olivet Worship Center and former Memphis City School Board member. So we have so much to get to. Let's start with all of this going on with the mayor's race. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, Otis, but basically what happened this week is we had a judge rule that the City Council can now be a part of this lawsuit that's deciding whether the 5-year residency rule for candidates applies or doesn't apply to 3 candidates in question, specifically Sheriff Floyd Bonner, as well as Van Turner, and also maybe Willie Harrington, the former mayor. He seems to have the most legitimate reason for getting through this, but the other 2 is more in question. So what we had this week is the City Council attorney, Alan Wade, filing a cross complaint, I think they called it, saying the City Council needs to be a part of this. But what struck me is he did this the first time any of us can remember that the legislative branch has sued the executive branch of the city,
right? And
he just did it,
right, and because he said he could do it. He said he's had that authority going all the way back to the 90s. That as the city council attorney, he had the ability, even without a formal vote, to file litigation or do whatever needs to be done on behalf of the city council. I mean, this is. Susan and I have worked in journalism around here for a long, long time. Never saw anything like this before, as you mentioned. But this is going to come down to interpretation only, and it's up to Chancellor Joe Day Jenkins to decide if the 5-year residency rule is still in force or if it's not. It's up to him now. But we do have the city council and the city mayor fighting each other on this issue.
I just think the city council members were a bunch of wimps on this one. I mean, they just basically gave him authority to take legal action representing that branch of city government without them ever having to take a vote as to whether they supported it or not.
Well, my feeling is if they don't want Alan Wade to participate in this lawsuit, then they can instruct him to withdraw that lawsuit. They're paying his salary. I mean, we're paying his salary. So let me try to put this whole hot mess in perspective. On the one hand, we as taxpayers, we're paying the city, meaning the city administration, to participate in this lawsuit. We're paying the Memphis City Council to participate in this lawsuit. So we as taxpayers are paying twice so we can argue among ourselves.
Right.
I mean, it is totally nonsensical. So Chancellor Jenkins will rule on this, and he probably better rule pretty quickly because I think you can start pulling petitions.
Week after next?
It'll be heard on the 18th, Thursday the 18th,
right.
And on Monday, the following Monday, you can start pulling petitions. So he's going to have to rule, and he's going to have to rule quickly.
Reverend Ken.
Let me get this straight. Alan Wade has the authority because he says he has the authority.
Right.
Yes.
Secondly, he makes a statement that I did a screenshot of it and posted on my page. He made a statement to the effect of the mayor does not have to abide by residency rules until they're elected. The residency, he said it, man. He said it. The residency rule does not apply until he gets, so that after he gets elected, then he has to live in the city. That's absolutely ludicrous. Ridiculous.
I can't disagree
Well, I
with you.
think the argument really is that that 1995 referendum included that the residency rules applied to the residency rules invoked by the state. The state has residency rules over the county, but not over the municipalities. So they're arguing that there are no residency rules. And that's where it's coming from, and that's probably why he says that you can be elected mayor and doesn't make any difference where you live until you're mayor.
And the more this goes on, the more foolish those three candidates are going to look to the electorate, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the more foolish we all look as a city.
Not me, I'm not claiming.
Your tax dollars too.
No.
So I don't want to, again, spend too much time on this, but we have the hearing that's starting on the 18th.
Right.
Candidates can begin pulling petitions to run on the 22nd. Does that put pressure on the chancellor to make a decision quickly before we start getting the process in gear here?
Oh, absolutely. I think it puts some pressure on him, and I think he's prepared to do so. I don't think he's going to let this drag out. He's been in this case now for, what, 2 or 3 months? So I think he knows the issues here, and Chancellor Jenkins is a very smart guy here. And I think that he will make a decision on this. Now, the question is, depending on how he decides, is anybody going to appeal? And if they appeal, will it what they call stay the decision by the chancellor, meaning don't have it enforced? All of those things are still up in the air.
Let me just make one point, and I'm not a lawyer, but if in 1995 the argument is the voters dropped the residency rule, in 1997 the late Jerome Turner, who was federal judge at the time, basically codified that. So the question is, can a chancellor in Chancery Court overrule what was opined on by a federal court judge? Will it have to wind up in federal court? It is a hot mess.
Yeah, it is.
Final word.
I'm just looking forward to the circus.
Well, all 3 rings. I think we're going to have it. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about several county issues, not only affecting county government, but the county school board too, right after this.